So I'm going to do a quick review of what I discovered after going over Dry Mesa Road on that Jeep road the other day. What I've learned, questions I have, research that's come up not really telling me a whole lot. Maybe people can comment in the comment section. I'm open to it because I'm trying to figure all this out. So, this frame apparently is C-channel, just like Ford and others. So, I guess that flex looks about normal. It looked like about 1.5 inches of flex on that rock that I got stuck. Now, I looked at a bunch of trucks, and that looks like mild compared to what some have bent to, but I mean, what can it really take? I can't really find any specs on the GMT 800 frame. I can't find PSI strength, I can't find anything. Maybe I'm looking all the wrong places. But if anybody has a resource for that, please post in the comments. I would appreciate it. As I was climbing that hill where I got that twist, it was slipping. Like, I was going up slow and it literally started to slip. And when I say slip, I mean like there was dirt between the rocks and the tires. Those rocks were big, flat, smooth slabs, basically. And the truck, even when I hit the brake and stopped, slid backwards while we were stopped. And so I guess this would be an argument for why Elockers might be better than the G80, because I was really reluctant to give it gas to get up that hill because it was very slippery, and to the right of me I had a cliff and behind me I had a cliff, and I really didn't know what to expect because I've never done that before. It felt like I was on ice, except it stopped sliding. With the G80, you have to have 120 RPM difference between the two tires before it locks. So I wasn't really willing to rev that thing up, honestly. I was really, really nervous about it. But it was fine. I rolled back slowly, and I just took a different angle approach, which was probably better for the vehicle anyway, because as you saw, it was twisting the frame about 1.5 inches or so. So, anybody got any input on that? Is that a safe limits? It doesn't appear that I damaged the truck in any way. And then that leads me to the next question. So, I obviously have a bunch of little things that I want to do on this truck. I want to change the idler arm, the pitman arm, stuff like that, because they are starting to get worn. They weren't an issue to get in aligned, and it's been doing great, but it's probably something that needs to happen. Also, I think I'm just trying to figure out when I want to do it, but I think I want to take the bed off this and finish taking care of any rust that's on the frame, even though this frame isn't terrible. I would like to get that out of the way, and maybe while I'm in there, go ahead and at least change the shocks, maybe replace some body mounts while I'm at it. I don't know. So, the other thing I was researching is rear sway bars. Now, in a situation where I had that flex, no one is really saying, but I've seen several videos where vehicles that have had the rear sway bar, even off-road vehicles, have been able to do better, getting better traction and getting up an angle like that by having a rear sway bar. But is that going to just torque the frame even more? Is that more detrimental? Another thing that I want to get is super springs for when towing and stuff like that, something that would provide an extra bit of lift when you've got load in the back. How does that play into things? Would a super bar and a sway bar, a rear sway bar, be a good addition? Oh, and one other thing is I've been thinking about at least lifting the back 1 inch. It looks like the truck slightly squats in the back, even though I only raised the front 2 inches, and everything I've read says that this truck comes from factory with a 2-inch rake, then it should look level. But honestly, it doesn't look level. But I've looked at other level trucks and they kind of have the same look, so maybe it's just because we're so used to seeing trucks that are raked, so it makes this maybe tend to look like it's squatting even if it's not. Your thoughts? What do you think? Is this something that I'm losing my mind on, or is it legit? So I was thinking of adding at least 1 inch of lift in the back. Maybe it'd give me a little more articulation. I've got to see how that works. But I also don't want to take away from what I can pull with this truck. I want to be able to tow my weight. Now, I found out the math. Basically, you take the percentage difference from the factory tire to the new tire size. In my case, it's 8%. Subtract it from the total tow capacity, which is 10,200 pounds would put this vehicle, now that I've changed the tire size, to roughly 9,400 pounds tow capability. So, I mean, for me, that's a lot. I don't want to tow anything bigger than that, ever. I'm not that capable of a driver, and I'm not going to pretend to be. If I wanted to be a semi-driver, I would have got a job as a semi-driver. I don't want to do it for recreation. I don't want to carry around 25,000 pounds of load. That's not even a thought in my mind. 9,400 pounds should be more than enough. With that being said, I don't want to take away from the truck's capabilities any more than I already have by going with bigger tires. This vehicle has had no issue with torque going off-road. It seems to climb just fine. The 2 times I've actually had issues was that situation where I might have been able to gun it and just go right up the hill, but I was a little nervous about it. Or when I got stuck in the snow, front lockers might have alleviated that. So, you know, if I put an air locker on the front, that might have helped me in both the situations. So, you know, if it was you, what would you do? Here's my punch list. What is a good idea? What is not a good idea? Rear sway bar. 1 to 2 inch lift on the back. New shocks. Super spring. Something in that area. And I can't find any modifications for this frame. I've read a lot of things that you probably wouldn't want to weld to this frame. It's high carbon steel, and unless you do it right, you could really just screw it up and then it could start cracking. So that makes me nervous. So I did have one idea though, is not that I need a gooseneck, but the gooseneck mount bolts to the frame and ends up being another cross support. Is that a way that you could help increase frame strength? And if I ever needed to haul a gooseneck trailer, then I would have one. Not that I need one, but I mean, hey, you know, before this, I've never owned a truck. This is the first truck I've ever owned. So, and I'm finding I'm doing with it more than I've ever thought I would do. I never expected to be going off-road. I never thought I would enjoy that. It was actually quite a blast. Give me your thoughts, your opinions. You know, you're free to tell me I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have gone up that hill. That's okay. I'd like to know what's reasonable. What was my expectations? Were my expectations reasonable? Did I push my truck too far? Or did I not push my truck too far? What would you do if it was your truck? And don't tell me to get rid of it. I know that this is ultimately not the ultimate vehicle for off-road. Probably that Jeep Road would be about the extent of rock climbing that I would want to do. But with that being said, this was my dad's truck. That's why I'm keeping this truck. That's why I'm doing anything with this truck. It was my dad's truck. Otherwise, I really don't think that I would be doing anything with off-road or any of that. So that is why I'm going to keep this vehicle and do with it what I can. And I know that seems insane, but that's my reasoning. So I want to keep this truck. I want to keep it in a decent piece, and I don't want to tear it up, although...
Oh my God, what in the... Oh my God, he just freaking hit a tree.
So I'm going to be looking at the transfer case and the G80 and all that stuff, and just to make sure I didn't cause any issues. But ideally, no, I don't want to total this truck. I don't want to ruin this truck. I want to use it for going on Jeep trails and do stuff like that, but not getting too carried away. But I want it to also be sturdy enough that it can do it. So I hope that makes sense. Please give me any of your thoughts. I've Googled and Googled and Googled, and I can't just come up with a good path of what way forward on this thing. So other than I do feel really good about the air lockers in front, I think that would be a good addition, but is that the best place to first spend my money? You know, there's cheaper things I can buy first that might do a better improvement, or that I might need to do first. Anyway, back to you guys. Please share in the comments your thoughts and let me know what you would do if this was your truck.